Hi all, welcome to my channel Santosh on Tech. Today we are going to discuss AWS Internet Gateway and Egress Gateway. If you find value in this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and press bell icon to get notification on new video update. So let's get started. Internet Gateway is a horizontally scaled, redundant and highly available VPC component that allows communication between your VPC and the internet. So, say suppose you want to connect your EC2 instance to the internet. So you have VPC, and under that you have various EC2 instances under a subnet, and you want to connect to the internet from your EC2 instance. So how your instances will connect to the internet? So this can be done with the internet gateway. So the internet gateway can be attached to the VPC through which the EC2 instance can connect to the internet. An internet gateway serves two purposes: to provide a target in your VPC route table for the internet routable traffic, and to perform a network address translation for instances that have been assigned public IPv4 addresses. So in our last video, we discussed how the network address translation works. If a subnet is associated with a route table that has a route to the internet gateway, it's known as public subnet. If the subnet is associated with a route table that does not have route to an internet gateway, it's known as private subnet. Keep in mind, in order to connect to the internet from your EC2 instance, you need internet gateway. So the first thing we need to do is to attach an internet gateway to the VPC. So here is our internet gateway. In order to route the traffic from the EC2 instances to the internet, we need to update the subnet route table from which we want to communicate to the internet. So say suppose we want to communicate from this EC2 instance to the internet, then we need to change the route table for respective subnet and add the entry for the target IGW. So any external traffic will be routed to the IGW, that is internet gateway, and IGW will send it to the internet. So once the route table is updated, EC2 instance will send a request, and through the route table it will be routed to the internet gateway, and the internet gateway will route it to the internet. If the subnet is associated with the internet gateway, it means if the subnet's route table has entry for the target as the internet gateway, then that subnet is called as public subnet, because instances from that particular subnet can connect to the internet. If the subnet routing table don't have entry for the internet gateway, then that subnet is called as private subnet, because this subnet cannot connect to the internet through the internet gateway, as it's don't have route table entry for the internet gateway. Though there are some ways to connect to the internet from private subnet through the NAT gateway and NAT instances, we will discuss it into the another video. To enable communication over the internet for the IPv4, your instances must have a public IPv4 address or an elastic IP address that associated with the private IPv4 addresses on your instance. So you can see our EC2 instance has a private IP address as well as the elastic public IP address. So as we discussed earlier in our network address translation video, that elastic IP address always come in a pair. So it has a corresponding private IP address as well. And if your instance want to communicate to the internet via the internet gateway, it should have a private IPv4 address and a public IPv4 address. You need to understand few critical aspects of the internet gateway which are important for your exam, and you need to remember it. So the first is an internet gateway provides internet connectivity to the VPC that we have discussed. Second is only one internet gateway is allowed per VPC. So if we go back to our earlier slide, you can have only one internet gateway per VPC. You cannot have a second internet gateway over here. That is not allowed. And the third is internet gateway is a horizontally scaled, redundant and highly available VPC component that allows communication between instances in your VPC and the internet. Again, the internet gateway is horizontally scaled, redundant, and highly available. So you don't need to worry about scaling and availability of the internet gateway. It is managed by AWS. Next is each IGW must be created and attached to a VPC. Then a route table entry must be attached to each subnet that requires public internet access. So we discussed this, right? You can have only one IGW per VPC, and the IGW is attached to the VPC directly. In order to use the IGW to route the internet traffic, we need to update the route table entry of the subnet. Next is route table entries can point to all destination. That is 0.0.0.0/0 for IPv4 and :/0 for IPv6. Next is if a subnet is associated with a route table that has a route to an internet gateway, it's known as a public subnet. If a subnet is associated with a route table that does not have a route to the internet gateway, it's known as a private subnet. Next is to enable communication over the internet for IPv4, your instance must have a public IPv4 address or an elastic IP address that's associated with the private IPv4 address on your instance. As we discussed earlier, each elastic IP address or public IP address need to be paired with the private IPv4 address. Okay, I think that's all about the internet gateway. So let's discuss about the egress gateway now. So let's go over a few points for the Egress gateway because it is very similar to the internet gateway. So we'll go over the important points only and not in details. So the first is if you require outbound communication over IPv6 from your instances to the internet using IPv6, you can use an egress only internet gateway. An egress only internet gateway is designed to provide NAT service for the IPv6, just as a NAT gateway provides for IPv4 instances. NAT devices are not supported for the IPv6 traffic. Use an egress only internet gateway instead. Next is Egress. Egress only internet gateway is a horizontally scaled, redundant, and highly available VPC component that allows outbound communication over the IPv6 from instances in your VPC to the internet and prevents an internet from initiating an IPv6 connection with your instances. All IPv6 addresses are public addresses at AWS. Next is the design of an egress only internet gateway is stateful, which means traffic that is forwarded from the EC2 instance to the internet has its traffic forwarded back to the EC2 instance that made the request. But the new traffic which is coming from the internet, which is initiated from the internet and coming to the egress only gateway, that will not be allowed. So that traffic will not reach to the EC2 instance, that will be rejected at the egress only gateway. To use an egress only internet gateway, you must create a custom route table for pointing all IP addresses like :/0 that points to the egress only internet gateway. So this route table updation is similar to the internet gateway updation. So the internet gateway allows inbound as well as outbound traffic. So we can initiate a traffic from the EC2 instance to the internet, and the internet can initiate a traffic to the EC2 instance. So it's two-way communication to the internet, but the egress only internet gateway is a one-way communication from your EC2 instance to the internet. The reverse is not allowed. And egress only gateway supports IPv6 addresses only, and internet gateway supports both. If you want to use internet gateway or the egress only gateway, you need to update your route table entries to route traffic to the internet gateway or the egress gateway. Along with that, you need to make sure that your network access control list and the security group allows that outbound communication. So that's all for today. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and press the bell icon to get notification on new video update. Thank you. See you in the next video.